Power, peace, and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power to the people of the struggle. Salute. Salute. Uh, I have to run. I won't be on long. We probably have a much longer dialogue about this and other things later on tonight. Um, First, I would like to express my deepest condolences, right, and universal healing to the family of DeVonna Walker. I'm most definitely sure that they are in a very, very bad state. And I want us all to extend, our deepest, deepest condolences to that family. And with the video moving, going viral, with the conversation, picking up more and more steam on the internet from everybody, people who consider themselves influencers, people who consider themselves activists, people who consider themselves woke, or just, people, such as myself and others who are just aware of the situation and feel connected. Because once again, Ms. Walker could have been my sister, right? My daughter, or any one of the black women, who are my family, who are my extended family. She could have been any one of us at any given time, which is why I have to give commentary, right? And for me, it is never to be in a space where I'm going to trigger, right, the tribe, where I'm going to place a space of fear into the tribe. I always want to speak on intelligent, analyzing, solutions, and where do we go from here. But first, I want to look at what we've seen. I don't know if everybody has seen what I have seen as far as the video of it is concerned, but that's where I believe we need to begin. We need to begin listening critically, watching critically, and then really thinking about how this could have had a different outcome, how it could be avoided, and prevent ourselves and our loved ones from being in that situation. Because that's where we are. And I don't believe that people, our people, are really, really taking a true assessment of where we are and continuously find ourselves in when it comes to these situations, these viral moments, these tragedies. We have to listen, look, observe, and respect. That is an absolute must for us. And me being in the work me being in the work of anger management, I have to. I cannot allow myself to not look at it as such, to not listen to it as such. And then from looking at it, making an attempt to give clarity to it. Right? So upon the video, we are witnessing an argument. And I'm listening to the argument. And what this Hooji, this great woman, is saying to the person who we later on will know as DeVonna, saying to her, and I will call the police again, or I will press charges again. We have to listen to that. Say, well, damn, there's a history there. And a history where law enforcement has been called. There's been law enforcement contact or engagement. We can either take away from it that, one, there was some type of issue within them in the past where they were fearful of her or she was fearful of them, but they the ones who established themselves. All right? Which I always tell you, this is a trick of white folk. This is how they play. They establish these paper trails, knowing what kind of bullshit they on, or knowing how to use law enforcement, weaponize law enforcement against us. So whatever took place, that is what was going on. Let's follow that. So we know it's tension there. We know there's been conflict there. Nevertheless, the argument is consistent. There's a back and forth. Now, I have to look at nobody is with her. I'm not even sure if this other individual, right, in the sweats is with her. But I know she's there watching. I see this woman with a dog arguing, and then someone comes out of the house. We come to find out that it's her husband who is arguing back at her. So now Ms. Walker is looking at this situation. She's seeing, right, someone arguing with her who she knows, because again, she's saying, and I'll call again. I'll press charges again. You watching that, and the person has a dog. Now you subsequently see a man out of the house, and he's arguing too. So this is two people in a volatile situation with an animal. Again, I'm trying to understand our people when it comes to conflict, when it comes to them not understanding their triggers and anger and violence in the violent situation. I always tell my people, nobody has a monopoly on violence. No one. If you can give it, you can get it at any given time. Don't care how big you are, how tough you are, how trained you are, whether it's boxing or in the arts or MMA or whatever. If you're 6'8", 310, if you're 5'2" and 130, male, female. No one has a monopoly on violence. Civilian, gangbanger, police, a soldier, nobody. At any given time, when you are in a space where you believe that you're going to give it, you can get it. That's an absolute fact. So she's witnessing this. I don't know the backstory. We don't know the backstory. At a point in the argument, after this man gives the racial slur, calls her the N-word, that sets her triggers into, right, another phase in the escalation of her anger. Again, I don't see anybody with her trying to de-escalate her or calm her down. But I see what she's looking at, and I know what I'm looking at. 3 against 1. She still makes the decision to charge at this woman. She charges at the woman, knocks her down. The dog tries to get at her. And in the same time, while she knocks her down, she's running to these people's door. She knocks her down right in front of the door. The husband is there, and he gives her the business. We see it. Absolutely no disputing that. We look at that, we see it. Now, just like anybody who is enraged, she probably doesn't know she's hit to that degree. She still tries to fight, gets up, tries to walk away. The dog is at her again. This time she comes out onto the lawn, stumbles, boom, falls out. She's out. The woman in the house comes over. The crowd is gathering and says that she's faking. So from the reports and from what we are knowing and what we're seeing, nobody gives her any type of first aid. Nobody. She's on the floor bleeding out. And we learn that she bled out for about 6 minutes before law enforcement came. It took them a minute to make the attempt to sort of give a first responder type triage and all. It took them about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes to give her any care. And she subsequently transitions. Terrible, tragic. Could it have been avoided? Most definitely. Should it have happened? No. No one deserves to lose their life in a situation like that. That whole scene could have been avoided. But now here's the spin. Now here go the storylines. Now here go all of the narratives to get the people riled up. Right? Was there errors made? Most definitely. Most definitely. From the woman not having any concern after you watch somebody collapse and claim that they were faking, you're acting like the dog. This is her words. This is what we're hearing. Oh, she's faking. She's going to act like the dog attacked her. Right? No sympathy. No empathy. Again, because of the situation, this woman just attacked you at your doorstep. Right? We can make the assumption that they are racist. We heard the husband with fire that call her the N-word. And in his enraged state, stabbed this woman, a girl. As they do, big, burly, cowardly dude who didn't make the attempt once he saw her push her wife down, didn't make the attempt to push her back, didn't make the attempt to even swing on her, didn't make the attempt to hold her. This coward stabbed a woman. Why? Because he's seen her as a black woman. He's seen her as an N-word woman who didn't deserve the humanity. Maybe, of course, because he's scared. Or whatever the backstory is, or whoever he is. Is he racist? More than likely. Is he a white supremacist? I doubt it. Why? Because to give him that title means that he is supreme. Just by him being in that neighborhood and in them conditions and having that situation on his front lawn, he ain't powerful, he ain't supreme. Just a white man with racist behavior and beliefs. So all the white supremacist shit, get that shit out of here. Most of them aren't supreme. They don't believe they're supreme. They know what they are. White N-words. Impoverished. With a belief that they should be better off. So they have a disdain and a hate for you or whoever else is around them. So we can make that educated guess that he was a coward. And we know that they are cowardly. We've seen that with Zimmerman, who after a 17-year-old put the beats to him, decided to shoot him. Cowardly, passive aggressive, throw the rock, hide the hand type. We know that. We've been watching it since Emmett Till. We know these things. So at what point do we fall back? At what point do we use intelligence? At what point do we use strategy if we are going to engage in our enemies? So now as I'm looking at her fall and people gather around, no one checked on her until several minutes when one of them said, "Oh my goodness, this is blood." So as a black woman is laying there, young black woman, nobody has the intelligence to check her out, to make an attempt to find out why this woman who was just loud and fighting and aggressive is now out cold. And none of them have any first responder skills. None. Again, right? Another reason why our people are never prepared for these confrontations. Because again, like I said, we don't have a monopoly on violence, so therefore we need to at least have first aid skills to bandage and patch our asses up if we get the wrong end of the deal. So all these things are leading up to her losing her life. Let's really look at this. She had no anger management whatsoever. She was triggered and off and running, enraged. No protection. None. No black men on our team, nothing. And was in this hostile environment. And again, we don't know the backstory. We don't know how long, right, this has been brewing. Now, people are catching wind and throwing out the propaganda, telling you why you should be enraged. And maybe you yourself are in a space where you believe that everything that happens to us, any one of us, regardless of the circumstance, we should stand tall for. However, we never ever stand tall for the corrective behaviors, for the preventive tools, for the true fight, the true war against our enemies. We never stand tall for that. We never support that. We always come from a position, right, behind the ball. It's always reactionary. Never immediate and to the point. We always from a reactionary, we always from a counter defensive move. Never intelligent, never thought out, never walking in purpose and militancy, consistent militancy. Now, this is what we need to stand tall, scream out, shout about, rally around, post on social media, and get all charged up and upset over. Without looking at it, breaking it down, making the proper assessment. Now, were there spaces where there should have been, and definitely somebody should be held responsible for the lack of timely intervention in all this? Of course, we can definitely go there. We can definitely go there. We can go to why this investigation is taking so long. No charges, nobody even contacting her family, her mother, where the mother had to go to the precinct. To why? Really? 10 minutes? There's a lot of things in the after effect that should rile people up. But it's the same thing that we've been going through. We continue to be riled up on the after effect. After someone loses their life. After that universal being, that beautiful person has been taken away from us. But nobody wants to be riled up beforehand. Nobody wants to tell people to get anger management. Tanya Owens, thank you for the green screen. Nobody wants to do that. Y'all haven't been doing that. Nobody wants to ask themselves, do I have an anger issue? Let me get an assessment. Does my brother or sister or mama need to talk to someone so they can control themselves? So that even though we know we're dealing with a racist society, that we're governed by some racist people, that the institutions protect racism, that we know how to respond, that we're the initiators of anything that deals with us? When are people going to start being mad and activate on that? On the preventive measures? Because trust, if I was there, it wouldn't have went that far. Better believe that. I can guarantee you that there are ways to speak to our people, to de-escalate our people, to move them out of that mind frame. Especially when you're at somebody else's doorstep without a weapon and the numbers are against you and you don't have the right complexion and there is no protection from any of the institutions, that you are viewed as a black woman angry and raging, and that your death is going to be meaningless to them. Best believe there are things that you can say and do to prevent that. But I don't see that. I don't see a wave of people saying, yo, we need to check ourselves out. We need to know that the conditions that we have been living under for generations have a ticking time bomb inside of us, that at any given time we can lose it and be out of control and fit the stereotype for somebody to come and murder us. So I can't be triggered watching this. I just can't. All I can continue to do is the work. And continue to say, book an anger management assessment to see where you are at. Get yourself some help. Invest in yourself. So all I can continue to do is to be out in the street, speaking to people, to dealing with my client base, to speaking universal truth to situations that we can have solutions to. It's all I can do. I can't do anymore. I can share my video 60 times. I've been doing it close to 12 years. That's all I can do. That's it, is to do my part, to continuously put my work in, to raise a family that knows exactly what we're up against. So when the minute, the powerless people who have these racist beliefs and ideas about us attempt to force us to move in a manner which that we're not going to come out the victor, we fall back. We have the tools necessary. That's all I can do. That's it. But for anyone to expect me to be triggered by something that I said was going to continue. I was angered with Eleanor Bumpers. I was angered since then. Baez, Michael, Griffith, Louima, Bell, names on and on and on. I've been angry since then. But I'm not angered that I'm going to have a response that's going to cause me to lose. We got to be more strategic. If we're going to engage with our enemy, we have to come out a winner, victorious. Why are we still spitting at people? Why are we still arguing on the street? Why are we still acting as if we're not warriors? Again, a lot attributed to her meeting her demise. Do you know the more you argue with somebody, the less energy you have, the more winded you become? You arguing and fighting and fussing and elevating your heart rate up to here, and by the time you get into the skirmish, you done. You all your energy is gone, and your enemy can do what they do. So a lot attributed to that. And again, we send our condolences to her family. And we want our people, our tribe, to heal and have a space that they can talk to or talk about when we get triggered and traumatized by continuously viewing these things on social media. But I don't look at that white man as a threat to me or anybody. He ain't supreme. Neither is his wife or they punk ass dog. We need to have critical analysis and intelligent solution-based practices when we are dealing with this. We've been going at it too long, yo. We've been fighting prior to the Revolutionary War, and we still keep coming up short. There's a change that has to be made, all right? So again, I thank my moderators for coming through. I thank you for the green screens and the continued support in this work and the building this tribe and to making sure that we get our people everything necessary. You dig what I'm saying? Everything necessary, right? To win this war. Remember, don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you. All right? Believe in my belief in you. And watch and listen critically. Critically. Take your emotions up out of it. And let's really start assessing these situations. All right? Salute all peace and power to the people that struggle. I love my people. Oh, yeah, we got some more. We got some more. Peace.